Okay, guys, here we go with Speed Run episode 8. This is the aggression and aggressive speed run. We're on episode 8, guys. It's been blowing up. Shout out to all you guys who have been a part of this entire series, and it's just going crazy. It's going strong. The numbers are ridiculous, guys, and we are just growing and growing and growing. So without further ado, let's get to it. You already know what it is. Aggression, speed run, fast, aggressive, tactical chess. Why aggressive chess? Because we want to play it. That's why. Okay. Concrete calculation, pattern recognition, confidence under pressure. These are things we want and like to do. And C, opening repertoire with white, Jobava London. With black, against D4, King's Indian. Against E4, Black Lion. Let's get into it. We will be playing from 400 to 2000. We're currently at the 600 rating. 650, I think, or something. 6 something. And then, yeah, chess is going to be fun, aggressive, and fast. Boys and girls, let's get right into it. Here we go. All right, here we go. And we're starting with black. I'm going to get to the big screen here and Black Lion stuff. So we might get a King's Indian. Let's go knight f6. King's Indian is always g6, bishop g7, c4. Nice. We got ourselves a KID, g6, King's Indian style. So we go bishop g7. Our idea here is to give up the center and give up the center for us to attack it later, basically. We give up the center to attack it later and for aggressive stuff. But he played e3. He didn't go e4. Usually you'll see knight c3 to go e4. So we go bishop g7 anyway. Our next goal is castling and d6. So we'll go castles now. Nice idea. He's going for more of a not passive, but just, you know, solid. Nothing to really do here. We go d6. d6 is a nice move. So now we have moves like e5 coming up, knight d7 or knight to c6. Or we can do the double fianchetto. I think when they play in this manner like this, where there's not a lot of tension going on in the center, I am a big fan of the double fianchetto setup, dubbed by I actually seen a lot of players, or one player in particular that I follow a lot. Shout out to him, but Alexander Bortnick strong, you know, Bortnick chess on socials. But he's scored very well with this. Starts as a King's Indian, but now we double fianchetto the bishops, so we have you know, range on both sides. Now my next idea is to go knight d7, play e5, and I'm actually threatening e4 in a lot of cases. Knight d7. So now my pieces look really nice. I'm going e5 next, and e4 is a big threat because of this idea of having everything aiming this way. So I didn't give up anything yet. I didn't tell him my hand. I didn't show my hand yet. So now he has stopped me from playing e4 in a lot of cases. But let's go rook e8 first. Idea here is I'm going to go e5 and then e4. I'm still trying to get this e4 push in. I could have played bishop takes f3 too as well. I'm not gonna lie, that probably was better, moving a little fast here. Bishop takes f3 is a move, but I mean it's okay. It's not like he's getting crushed immediately after bishop takes f3. I'd rather keep the bishop because it's incredibly strong. Now I'm gonna go e5. I still don't want to take on f3. I want to play e4. So if he takes, I'm gonna take back with the pawn. I'm gonna pre-move it. If he takes, I'm gonna take back with the pawn. I do want to play pawn e4 though. This is something I really want to play. So e4, if he allows e4, we win on the spot, basically winning material, and then that's going to lead us into winning the game. But we have a very nice central strike here, waiting for him to make a move. Let's see what he does. Pawn e5 on the board. He played d5. Okay, so d5 is actually pretty good, huh? And wait, can I do that? e4 takes taste. That is incredible. The bishop is almost trapped, but so he stopped our e4 push because knight takes, bishop takes, and now it's blocked. But this bishop's kind of blocked too, so we're going to end up moving him and maneuvering him around like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go knight c5 because he opened up that square. Pawns always leave holes when they're pushed. So knight to c5 threatens e4 once again. I'm also threatening knight takes and then go e4. So let's see what he plays. He might move it away. He might not. I'm also trying to keep this outpost really strong for my knight. So if he ends up moving away, I'm looking at a5 just to keep the knight where it is, to not be kicked away. This is a very good outpost. This bishop is not hitting a brick wall. So either we can go c6 or we can back the bishop up and try to go the other way in future moves, future games. c6 will be like e4. And I would end up taking that anyway, just to get some clarity on the pawn structure. So let's see what white does. Knight c5. We got him thinking, boys. We got him thinking. Knight c5, and we live. Okay, he played e4. That's a good move. e4 because it stops us from playing e4 ourselves. Now, I don't have to take anything. I could take this bishop. What I'm going to do, though, like I said before, is a5. Follow up with what I was doing, which is an annoying move for white here. a5 stops b4 from being pushed. Now this knight stays here. If you allow b4 to happen, well, okay, I guess you could have captured, but white gets some space that we really don't want to be giving up. And if he goes a3, trying to intend b4, my thought is thinking about a4. So if b4 still happens, we have en passant, which is a really strong idea. This knight and pawn combo is nice. So he goes bishop g5. This gives us a free move. What is that? h6. I will always take the bishop pair. If bishop takes, I can just take with the queen and then back up and then play bishop c8 and eventually play f5. We like close positions here. In the King's Indian, Black Lion, close positions favor us a lot because of maneuvering. All of this is closed up. He played queen e2. He played queen e2, boys and girls. Didn't we attack his bishop? Let me make sure. Let me see. Okay, we did attack. Let me refresh. Let me just make sure that let me make sure. Oh yeah, he didn't move it. He didn't move it. Okay, so we're gonna take it. We're gonna take this bishop here. Yeah, yeah, guys. He just gave that up. So yeah, was not expecting that one at all. Well, now we have a very cool move here. Let's see if you can spot the move. White to move here and find a cool move to put. Sorry, black to move and find an amazing move here. See if you can find it. Pause the video if you need to. But I always like to find the tactical threats and moves. My move here is knight h5. And you're thinking, wait, that's the move? Well, it's a dual action threat. I'm hitting the knight, and I'm also threatening knight f4, which is a fork on the queen and the bishop here. So white is already in a lot of trouble. He did just lose a piece here. It was unnecessary. You know, he didn't have to give up the bishop. He could have moved it away. But always ask yourself, what are they doing? What is your opponent doing? Right? We threatened his knight, or we threatened his bishop, and he didn't move it. So this wins a piece here. Knight f4. I'm attacking the queen. I'm attacking the bishop. I'm winning even more material now. Even more material. Very nice King's Indian here. Very flawless. We didn't have any mistakes. We didn't have any bad moves or like any problems here. This was a good game. Very clean King's Indian. So this is annoying. Queen f7. So I'm going to actually take here first. I want to take this. He might try g3. I'm going to take here, though, which is going to attack his queen. And then I want to kick his knight away because this knight is very annoying. I have a rule that I teach students all the time. When they cross the line, they have to go. What is the line? Anything from 5 to 8 is all black's territory. Anything from 1 to 4 is all white's territory. Anything that crosses needs to be eliminated immediately, or they will bring friends, and it won't be a fun party for you because this is the idea here. So we need to kick this knight away. His rook is probably going to move away. And there it is. And now I'm going to go f6. Because if I go back to c5, he has g3, which I don't want to give him this unnecessary counterplay. I'm going to go f6. If he takes mine, I could probably take here. I could take here, though, which is the simplest. But I do like taking this and then taking that, grabbing more material, too. Let's see what he does. f6. Now, if knight h3, we'll take and then replace. If knight e6, same thing. We will take and then replace the knight. There it is. We'll take this one. And then if pawn takes, we're going to go back here and replace the knight. Now, my next move is f5, highlighting this next. You see how the bishop's finally starting to come to life? This one still needs some help, but this bishop is absolutely coming to life. f5 is going to help out a lot. He might completely miss that this is going on. It also opens up my diagonal for my queen too as well. I'm always looking for dynamic moves, aggressive, play something, bring it to him, checks, captures, threats, look for the most aggressive option, improve my position. What does improve mean? Even move a piece or a pawn to a better square than what is currently on. These are things and ideas that I'm looking for all the time. So he goes with this move g3. I do have check, not necessary. Let's just go with the simple move. Knight takes e6. Now I can reroute the knight to d4. Knight d4 and f5 are ideas. f5 is really strong once again because sometimes you just don't see the range. You just don't see the whole board sometimes. It's like that. He plays queen to g4, attacking g6. It's a good move. Should I go G5? King F7. I'll go G5. I'll go G5. If he takes, I'll take back the knight. Pre-moving it. If he takes, I'm taking back with the knight. Knight takes G5. But we're up material, waiting for white to figure out what they want to do. Eventually, I could do stuff like this. Okay, so I'm going to take back with the knight, right? Yeah, and if F4, which is possible. I'm going to take here, and E4 is a little loose. A lot of pieces on the E4 square. Calculation, boys and girls, calculation. COE. Calculation over everything. There you go. There you go. Let's get it, boys and girls. Let's go, man. Knight G5, nice move. Okay, Rook D2. I don't know what this is doing at all. Doesn't seem like it's doing anything. Can I get to this square? Not really. I could try Queen C8. I don't really like that, though. Okay, I'm going to go back. Let's just go back. I want to go here and do something like this eventually. So let's see where he puts his queen. Hopefully he goes like here, you know. Queen H4, like, come on, bro. Just do it. Like, just do it. Just come on, bro. We called it before. Remember that game? I don't know what episode that was, but Rook G8 and then knight takes D7. Oh my goodness, he played. Let's go. You can't make this up, bro. You can't make this up. That's the name of this title. You can't make. Oh my goodness. You can't make this up, bro. Like, I mean, it is the worst move that you can play. You can't play a worse move. Okay, maybe you can. There's like, give up your queen or like, don't move it or something. But that was hilarious. We're 2 for 2 on calling. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be a bad night. I'm about to pre-move. I'm gonna pre-move. I like doing this with the knight. Don't try to sit home, guys. Do not try to sit home. Okay. I really like doing this with the knight, though. This is one of my favorite things to do. It's like pre-moving this knight, moving it around. Okay, now I'll go back. The knight survived. In 30-second chess is even easier or fast. You know, like you see my clip. Send me the clip. Like, you know. Send me the clip. Like when that happens, I mean, you'll see it all the time. Like pre-move the knight 100 times, you know. Like here, 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 here. Let's see what happens. Jedi. It worked. And for the finale. That. Beautiful. Beautiful way to end it at the end. Beautiful. Okay, let's do the quick game review. Let's do the game review. Get out of here. Do the next game. Okay. Game review says 89. Whenever I get an 80, that's crazy. I got 89.5. Come on, bro. I do 90s only. Oh, they don't like this. But okay. Here we go. So D4, knight f6, C4, G6. We go King's Indian, and generally you see it against everything that white plays rather than E4 move 1, or even sometimes in a, you know, like there's weird variations, basically, to say the least, in transpositions. But D4, C4 is King's Indian type of work. E3, we go Bishop G7. Knight F3, castles, following the same stuff. Knight C3, we went D6. And Bishop D3. Now, I had, you know, a choice here. I could have done it like this first. But I did like this B6 idea. I like it because Bishop B7, again, I've learned this from watching a lot of Bortnick games. Shout out to him. But he does this with black a lot, I see, with like the double finchetto setup, starting from a King's Indian. And it's really nice. It's very flexible. I love to have that flexibility and the opportunities and options available. So Bishop B7, he goes Bishop D2. I go Knight D7, right, with the idea of playing E5. Queen C2, Rook E8. I could have taken, as the engine says, but I wasn't really a fan of it too much because I don't have great follow-ups. So yes, I damaged the structure, but I don't have great follow-up, so I didn't want to pull the trigger on it. Rook E1, E5, D5, closing up the game. Knight C5, hitting the bishop. I will take this bishop. He goes E4. I go A5 to stop B4 to keep my bishop where it is. Bishop G5, I go H6, and he should have just moved it anywhere. And he played Queen E2 and completely leaves the piece hanging. So takes, Knight h5, which is really strong because knight f4 is coming. And then we got knight f4, take the bishop, f6. Now we just up this material. Takes, knight back around. And then we went on a knight frenzy. Knight moved so many times this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 7. 7 moves in a row with the knight. That's a record, maybe. Bishop b7, and then this knight was wreaking havoc as well to end the game. So, yeah, we got this one done, guys. It's you can't make this up. That's the name of that one today. Can't make this up, man. That queen h4 move was crazy. But at the end of the day here, this was a good King's Indian. We learned fianchetto both the bishops here. Stay flexible and also break in the center with the move pawn e5 like we did in this game. So let's do our next game. We're always doing 2 games per video to get some more content going. So here we go. All right, here we go. And we have a Jobava London. Let's do it. D4. I was about to pre-move D takes E5 because I'm just so tired of seeing it. So we went D5. Maybe we'll get a regular Jobava. Let's see. Come on, bro. Just play it right, bro. Just don't do nothing crazy. Okay, there we go. Knight f6, bishop f4. Now let's see what variation we're going into. Bishop f4, knight c3. And of course, he's already frozen. Lots of times at the lower levels too, like sub 2,000, even sub like 1,500. You know, it depends on rating, obviously. Sometimes they've seen it, sometimes they haven't. But this is a very fun opening to play, obviously. He went e6. Now, you could go knight b5 immediately. I've had success with both. I'm just going to go with my main stuff, which is e3. This is what I generally will always go for. I've scored the best with this because I like the flexibility and options. Bishop d7 not played as much. I have seen this before, though. This is like a new engine move or something. Where c5 happens. So let's go knight f3 with the idea of knight e5. And then g4, g5, h4, h5. So let's see what happens. See what he does. I think bishop d7 might have been. So he played c5. Okay, I'll go knight e5. Knight e5 here. See what happens. Take. I will take back with the pawn as a pre-move. Okay. He played a6. All right. A6. I don't know if he's going b5 or not. I'm going to go g4 immediately. Very, very aggressive chess here, boys and girls. Very aggressive. There's a variation that's kind of like this. He went c4. Okay, we'll go g5. Back in the knight. Knight e4 is going to blunder a pawn. So we get to take. I have to take back. Now c4 is falling. We'll take with the bishop here. So we steal a pawn. I want to. How do I get rid of this off? This is an annoying pawn. So he went knight c6. Is there anything I could do about this pawn? Like, good castle. Queen g4. Let's do this. Annoy him a little bit. Queen g4. The idea is to take this. If knight takes e5, bishop takes. And at some point, taking this pawn. But I have to watch out for bishop to c6. I'm also like looking at castling queen side too. And playing d5. Open up the game. At some point, again, we got to watch out for the bishop here too. Queen g4 is just an annoying move. Knight b4, not bad, I think. Not bad. I should probably back up to b3 if I defend this pawn. Queen a5, I could go c3. Attack the knight. Knight d3 check. Knight takes. Good castle. Seems a little weird there because of some stuff here, but the bishop defends. Sometimes you also castle kingside. I had a game over the board where I drew Sean Lemieux Rodriguez, Grandmaster, and I ended up castling kingside with pawns on h4 and g5. I ended up gaining the pawn. I had a great game, and there was a draw in that game. But yeah, it was fun. So he went bishop c8. And one thing that's not very good, guys, is undeveloping pieces. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go bishop g3 first. My idea is to take this, but at the right moment. I want to go h4. Because if I go queen takes, then my g5 pawn is hanging. Notice how crazy these positions get. And it's very aggressive in attacking chess. That's what we want to play. He went bishop e7, h4, following my plan. I get to defend. Now I can take this comfortably. And there is no bishop c6 as well. There is no bishop c6. Here goes f6. This is always bad. Always bad. Where's been fine go that right? He said, oh, never play f6. Now, in this case, f6 is bad because of just a tactic with this knight on e5. Remember, in the last game, we talked about crossing the line. When they cross the line, they got to go, right? When they cross the line, they got to go. Anything 1 to 4 is all white. Anything 5 to 8 is all black. Why? Because they're going to bring friends, and here is the friend. Queen h5, check. Now after g6, we do knight takes g6, which is really strong in the driver's seat. Already much better. Already much better. If king f8, it's mate in 1. Mate in 1. And there it is. King f8. And we great! Let's go! GG. Okay. Let's check the game. Check the game. And here we go. 92.5. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's see what happened. We had d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6. Regular stuff. Bishop f4, e6, e3. Bishop d7, knight f3. Knight b5 is what they wanted. I didn't care about that. c5, I go knight e5 anyway. a6, I go g4, already playing aggressive chess. He goes c4. That's not the greatest. Generally, you see c takes d4, which transposes into a variation that is like straight out of the course in a way, or one of the courses. Jobava Wise is like straight from a Jobava course as well, and g5 is a move. But he didn't go that route. He went with c4, which really blocks everything up. And then when I go g5, now he has to go either knight g8 or knight e4. Knight e4 allows me to capture and take on c4. So takes, bishop takes c4, knight c6, queen g4, engine wanted knight takes d7, but I didn't want to, like, let him off the hook a little bit, helping develop his pieces, as his bishop is really bad on d7, so I don't need to take. Knight b4, bishop b3, which defends the pawn. Engine said I should have just castled and give up the pawn. What? That's crazy. So bishop c8, bishop g3, with the idea of queen takes e4 once again. Bishop e7, so now we can defend with h4. And then he goes f6. I was expecting a castle, to be honest. But f6, you can play this usually after your castle, not before, because it runs into ideas like this, where if g6 would have happened, well, takes, and I'm already threatening all kind of stuff here. Super annoying. I even threatened to go like knight back to e5, like even rook g8, knight back to e5 again, wins. And then you do it again, rook g6, knight takes again, right? So really ugly. And if pawn takes, then we take the rook with decisive material loss. So he went king f8, not seeing queen f7 was check and mate. Now, fun Jobava game. We had a King's Indian game today, so that was nice. Jobava, King's Indian and Jobava London. So you can't make this up in that first game, because he played queen h4 and did not expect that at all. So incredible stuff today. Hopefully you learned from this speed run. Of course, make sure you answer the pinned comment question in the comments there. Let me know how you enjoyed it, and did you spot the stuff in the game yourself, or did you have any games like this? Let me know. We're talking to you in the comments. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the sub button again as we're getting to 100K subs, and we'll see you on the next episode.